So welcome to this talk on link management between MagicDraw, Enterprise Architect, and Doors Next. So what's on our list for today? In the first part, I'll be talking about linking MagicDraw and Enterprise Architect. We'll look at version links and how the suspect link mechanism works in Smartfacts. In the second part, I'll be talking about linking MagicDraw and Doors Next. So we'll be using OSLC-based link, and we will look at global configurations. So let's jump right into the tool and build some links. Here I have a diagram in my history from Enterprise Architect. We will load that one into the split view, and on the other side we will take one from MagicDraw. So we have MagicDraw on the left side and Enterprise Architect on the right side here. And now we will just add a link and say these two blocks are equivalent. So we have defined an is equivalent link type in our model warehouse profile. You can define as many link types as you want, define their behavior, their design, and now we will generate that link. Okay, in the next step, we will change this block in MagicDraw, republish it, and see what happens to the link. Okay, so here we are in MagicDraw, and let's just pull this port in here. So we have a second port in that block now, and now there's really the question, is this block still equivalent to the block on the other side? Let's republish. We publish a new version and we only publish the differences. The version number gets incremented, and here we go. So this will be very quick. This is a model with about 50 diagrams, but we have a very efficient publishing algorithm, and you see within a few seconds everything is done. Now we're waiting for the notification that, and here it is already, version 3 has been published. We can click on that link and see in the global model warehouse tree where that model is located. So also this is very, very convenient. And yes, now looking at versioned links, we should refresh this diagram and then change the version to version 3. And you will see that here in version 3 also, this link is available or visible. And if we step back to version 1, it isn't. And now let's go back to version 3 and add another link. Add one here. And now if we go back to version 2, then there should be only one link, right? So, and that's exactly what we had expected. So this is how versioned links work in Smartfacts. Very intuitive, very easy to maintain them. Now, let's assume you come to the office in the morning and say, well, I have to check the links. And so step right into the suspect board. And here we are. So we have one suspect link in our models, and we get all the details. So there is an observed element, there is a changed element, there is a reason why this is a changed element, and there is a linked element. Okay, so the observed element, we just do a hover over this and say, well, show me where this observed element actually is located. And this takes us into the diagram, and it highlights the observed element and say, okay, this one actually changed, obviously. And what has changed? Another port has been added. So P2 has been added. And where is P2 actually? P2 is here. And also this gets highlighted. And this was added. So we understand that this block has been changed. It got another port, and it is linked to this element here on the other side, and we can decide if this link should be changed. You could also say, well, I would like to examine this in detail, and you just click this little arrow and you will get the whole scenario. And then, of course, we have our floating container, and we can easily do a version diff. So we say, well, we're in version 3 now, and we want to compare this to version 2. And immediately we get all the details. This is what has changed. That is the block, and a port has been added. Okay, now let's continue with an absolute highlight. We have looked at versioned links and suspect links, and now let's step into global configurations. I think every company that's doing engineering at scale will have to adopt to this concept. And IBM has done a brilliant work in my eyes in Jazz to define this concept, and we have adopted to it. Good. So let's go to Jazz, and I am here in a global configuration. It is a very simple global configuration. It only has one stream that is an RM stream, so requirements management. And what we're going to do is we will add our MagicDraw model to this global configuration. So we step into our global model warehouse tree. Oops, sorry. We navigate down to the adaptive cruise control model. We choose the right version, and we add this to the global configuration. So we have now one component with requirements and one component with a model from Smartfacts. Okay, let's go over to Smartfacts. And now currently we do not have global configurations enabled, and we will do that. We just go into the model warehouse profile and we activate global configurations here. And now we have a second button here that allows to select a global configuration against we want to work. So we click on that button, and here are all my global configurations I have on the Jazz side. And there is a component, the marathon, and I would like to pull up that one and say, this is the global configuration against which we want to work. Now, if you see that button here, that little icon, if you click on that icon, this will bring up all the details behind this global configuration. And now let's open the content. We want this to the right, and we want this to the left. And this is all we need. Here we are. So on the right side, we have our texture requirements. We will open them up to the 3rd level. Good. So that's a very simple, it's basically only a template. And now we drill into the model, and we are looking for our product tree. We examine, is this the diagram we want? Yes, this is the diagram with the 2 ports, and we load it to the left. Great. So let's go on now and build some links. So we take this here and add a link derived from requirement, and we generate that link. We generate another one, and we generate a 3rd one. Good. So we've established 3 OSLC links between the MagicDraw model and our textual requirements. Of course, we have rich hover everywhere. You know that. Meanwhile, we have that principle. So you get the delegated UI via OSLC also here on the text side. And let's look into MagicDraw, how things have changed there. Okay, so we switch to the links tab, and here we have derived from requirement. Here we have our Jazz links. We can just hover on those and we will get the details. And by the way, of course, we have the is equivalent links to Enterprise Architect. So we easily can also open Enterprise Architect inside MagicDraw here. And yeah, zoom in. We can expand the floating container here and start commenting and all these things. So very convenient also to do that. Okay, let's jump to the other side. So we just do a hover here and we click on it. This takes us into the correct global configuration, and we select the links compartment, and here is the link we've just built. And yeah, let's extend that. And here is the property grid. So we have linked this requirement to an element, and we can click on that lens and we will be taken into the MagicDraw diagram, and we can examine that in detail. And of course, we can open the floating container. We can use the complete functionality. We can step into the version diff and say compare this to version 2. And here we are, we get all this colored and highlighted. We can start commenting. We can use all the Smartfacts functionality inside Doors Next Generation. Good, so let's go back to Smartfacts. Yeah, there is one more question. How good is the coverage of our links we have built? So let's call our analysis center, and we select the traceability analysis, and now we have to select the context. Context can be a model, but it can be also any package inside the model. We have used derived from requirements, so we want to analyze that. And I think we have used blocks, we have used ports, probably. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. These are all stereotypes. Block, interface block, and this is also a block, so we should add interface block here. Interface block. And now we do our analysis and we ask, well, Smartfacts, list all the links from elements of this type, of the given type, that have a link we have specified by type. And we can expand that, we can drill into the details, and here we get the details of the model. Always we are able to navigate into the diagram and understand where that link actually originates from, and we can of course also navigate into the requirement. Every result always is presented in a rich rendered way, but also we have raw data. I'll show that in a second. So we'll do the opposite analysis. Now we will analyze all ports and blocks and interface blocks that do not have links of the type derived from requirement. So that should be probably a little bit more. So we start that analysis. The complete model is analyzed, and here are all those elements. Again, of course, we have rich hover. We have rich hover everywhere. As I said, we can navigate into a diagram here by just hovering on it, and we can load it onto the left side or on the right side. So this is a very, very efficient way to navigate a model. And of course, we have also the raw data, and this raw data is presented as an Excel sheet. You can download it as Excel. I just click on download, and here is my Excel sheet. Or you can store it in the global model warehouse tree, and we are even able to store this analysis in the global model warehouse tree. So we I call it my analysis, and I put it into tutorial, and now this is my analysis I've stored. I can easily access it again, so I will close this down, and when I go into the tutorial folder, then I have my analysis here, and I can just start it right away without having to specify the parameters. You see here are my parameters, and I can just start the analysis. So coming to the end, there's one last thing I'd like to point out concerning global configurations. So whenever you choose a version of a diagram or an artifact in Smartfacts, you will be shown if this artifact is compliant with the current global configuration. So when you hover on this green icon says this version is compliant with the selected global configuration up here. If we select a different version, then this will not be compliant anymore. And now we get that red triangle that tells us this version is not compliant with the selected global configuration anymore. And of course, we've recognized that all the links have disappeared because these links are not valid in this global configuration. In the next step, we will tailor our picker so it is only possible to select artifacts in a global configuration, so there won't be the possibility to navigate outside if you want. That will be a next step I will share with you soon. So thank you for watching this.